Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you're doing good. Today is 21st November. It's Wednesday today, and let's start our day with Lao Tzu. If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are heading. That means that if we are focused, if all our energies are directed towards one goal, then there are high chances that we will achieve that goal. With this, dear friends, our pen drive and tablet courses are available for various different exams. As you can see on your screen, we have covered SSC and bank courses, UPSC optional, state PSCs, defense, teaching, law exams, and much more. To find out more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. Now, the most important article of the day is this one: Make It the Indian Way. It is about Make in India. It is about new way of producing things in our country, how we can get that competitive edge as far as manufacturing is concerned, how we can create these millions of jobs that are required per month. We need to create at least 1 million jobs per month in our country. To provide employment opportunities to all these youngsters who are entering into this job market. So, make it the Indian way. This article is about this 3D printing. Right now, the basic things about 3D printing is that, and one of the most basic is you have to create, or you have to imagine, in your mind, you have to create this product that you want to create in real world. First of all, it should start with your mind. Isn't it simple as that? Once you have things clear, then you can put this thing into your computer. You can design a product, and nowadays we have all these softwares and other things where you can do all this analysis. Various, like, say for example, if you are creating a building, then you can do this risk analysis, or you can create this artificial wind and how much pressure it will create on your building, and if there is an earthquake, then how much damage that this earthquake will cause to your new building and new design, how balanced it is, and can go on and on. So this is not just about building, right? You can do it with so many things, like maybe your car or your water bottle or your can of milk, and so many things, so many products we can create in our head, and then we can put it in the computer. And once things are clear in our computer, once we know exactly what material that we are going to use, right, and if we have this 3D printer, then we can create that, we can manufacture that product. So to make it a bit more clear, let's take example of the person that you can see on your screen. So here, this person, just imagine that he has created something in his mind, and now he has designed this thing on his computer, and he has this 3D printer, and here it is, right? The thing that you can see on your screen is there in his hand as well, because this 3D printer can use this latest technology to produce these items that you have on your computer. So this is going to be our future. If we want to succeed in manufacturing, if we want Make in India to succeed, then we have to adopt this industrial 3D printing technology or additive technology, because there was a time when China used to make a huge amount of money, and one of the reason why China is where at present, China was in a bad state. There was a time when China's economic condition was bad compared to our country, but at present it is totally different. We know it very well because of business process outsourcing. So what BPO is all about? BPO, simple thing is, if I can produce a thing for you better than you, right? If you are a big company, right, just imagine that you are located in Germany, I am in China, and I have cheap labor, I have cheap land, rules and regulations are okay here, you don't have to pay that much of tax. So if all these things are available, and if the final product that you produce in Germany, it will cost you, say, maybe 10 euro per piece, and if you produce it in China, and if it will cost you, say, 2 euro, right, then you can sell this item for 5 euro and make enough profit, and your product will be competitive, and so many things. So this is what BPO is all about. This company will decide that now it is better to produce your items in China because it is much cheaper and better to produce over there. But those days are gone now because now it is, Chinese economy is quite up now. Things are expensive in China as well. So there are so many companies out there. They are looking for, there are a few companies who are looking for, translocating their production facilities in some other countries. And the way things are going on as far as technology is concerned, this technological changes that are taking place, there are so many companies, right? They are thinking to go back to their home country, produce over there using 3D printing. I'll give you one example of Adidas, right? Adidas is a big name when it comes to sports. There was a time when Adidas used to produce its shoes in Germany, but they were a bit expensive, or not expensive, but then they found that in China they can produce the same quality shoe at a much cheaper rate. So this production facility was transported or translocated in China, and now because they have new technologies and China is getting a bit expensive, now Adidas is producing shoes in Germany. They have set up this new 3D printing plant, so they don't need that many human beings. Everything is done by most of the things are done by robots. You have designers, they will design this item, then you have people looking for material and other things. So with I would say limited staff, you can produce good quality of shoes in Germany at a reasonably cheaper rate. So this is possible because of this 3D printing. So you can imagine that this new technology, this 3D printing will distort, it will bring this distortion. It is going to be disruptive as well, and so many people in China as well as so many people in India may lose jobs, right, if we are going to stick with this old way of producing things. And let's take example of Ford Motors. They used to, for every new car prototype, it used to take 6 months and several $100,000, so more than $1 lakh or $2 lakh they used to spend after a prototype, and then you have to go through so many things, and if prototype is not all right, then it will get rejected. So waste of time, waste of money, waste of energy. But with this additive technology, they can create the same thing in 4 days, and all they need to spend is $4,000, $5,000. The other thing is, say for example, this is your assembly line where you produce your cars. So you have this stage here. Just you can imagine a company, right? Let's say Ford, right? So Ford will be producing engines, but the material for engine is again supplied by some other company. Then there are so many other things, So basically, it's an assembly thing that you assemble items. There are a few companies out there, right? They are best in production of glass or your windscreen. Some are good with this speedometers, some are good with air conditioning, some are good with leathers. So you order things from various different companies and then you assemble everything at your production facility, and this is how cars are made, right? Generally speaking. Now you can imagine that you have to go through so many, this big procurement process or purchasing process, and then you have to store these items, then you have to assemble them. Just imagine if just one bearing of your car is not performing that well, then it will impact other 99 items as well, isn't it? So this is a big drawback of assembling, or the things or the products that we are using at present. The more components are assembled, the more wear and tear, the more possibility of breakdown. So these are some of the drawbacks with traditional manufacturing. But with this 3D printing, or this industrial 3D printing or additive technology, you can have just one material, and then you can create so many things, right? So less assembling is required, and there could be a time, like there are, say for example, if we are talking about engine. Now engine is made up of either aluminium or maybe iron or something, right? I'm not expert in engine production, but I know that it is made up of solid metal. You have so many holes and so many curves and other things in your engine. So rather than assembling various different items, you can use 3D printing, and then you can have a proper, precision made engine. Good quality engine can be made, and good quality other products can be made. Like, let's take example of USA. At present, nearly 12% items are produced with the help of this additive manufacturing technology. In 3 to 4 years, 25% of products that are produced in USA would be coming from this additive manufacturing facilities. Nearly all hearing aid manufacturers now use additive manufacturing. So additive manufacturing is changing features or tweaking shapes, is as simple as all you have to do is a little bit of, if you have say for example, if you are producing a car, let's say Rolls-Royce, and if you want to make some changes with your maybe chassis or maybe some other things, then all you have to do is make some necessary changes in your computer, do some trials, and hit the enter button, and that's it. And this 3D printing machine will print the thing that you, or it will produce the thing that you that you have on your computer. So it becomes easy. You can as less assembling, so less wear and tear, and good quality durable products can be produced. You don't need this big setup, right? You can have a small setup, so less capital, less space requirement, right? So all these things are added benefits of this additive manufacturing. And for India, right, it will eliminate this requirement of large capital outlays. In our country, we have this very mature and developed software industry, so it's going to be a bit easier for us because in India, operating software and other things are a bit reasonably cheap compared to developed countries. So this facilities or this sort of services are going to become a bit cheap. Then we can produce items that are suited for harsh environmental conditions like tropical weather that we have in our country. We can have this uniformity in quality of product, and more durability of product, or more durable products can be produced in our country if we adopt this additive manufacturing thing in our country. For that, we have to accelerate research in our engineering schools, and we have to find this rhythm where we can bring in science, art, as well as Indian entrepreneurship. If these three things, if we can get this golden triangle right, then we can change the way things are going on, and we can lead the whole world when it comes to production of various different items. And it will create jobs as well, because it's going to create disruption, but it will create jobs, right? If we are able to provide right skill to our people. Moving on to another item, again easy to understand article we have: amid institutional decline. Yesterday we were talking about importance of institutions. Last week we were talking about importance of institution, and I told you that institutions outlive individuals. Individuals may come and go, but institutions, right, they are there forever or for a very long period of time. Like, institutions provide the framework for individuals and systems to function. If institutions are performing well, like say for example, if we have this Prime Minister's office, or if we have Supreme Court maybe, right, if we have some other institutions as well, we can have some best examples. So if we have an institution in our country, and if that institution is performing well, that means that everyone working in that institution is performing very well too, right? There are less chances that people will be skiving or not doing anything. When you have this high performing team, then everyone is contributing, everyone is playing his or her important role. Every department is playing a very important role, and this is how institutions work. So institutions, they also give us a boundary, right? That the things that you cannot break, or you have these terms and conditions or rules and regulations that, like, if you are working in government institution, if you are working, say for example, a high high performing institution, then you cannot you corrupted, or you have to achieve things in given deadline and other things. So there are so many examples I'm sure you can think about. Now the reason why we find this article is because there are so many institutions in our country, they are not performing that well. Let's take example of Central Bureau of Investigation. We know this CBI versus CBI case is going on. We have an update as well in today's newspaper about this case that is going on in Supreme Court. Then Reserve Bank of India, government versus Reserve Bank of India thing was going on. At present things are all right. We have one article on this Reserve Bank of India and government. Then Central Vigilance Commission, the main job is to look after these corruption cases and other things, or provide this supervisory or supervision role when it comes to corruption cases. But the way it has handled this CBI case, we can clearly say that again this institution is again biased and not doing that good. Intelligence Bureau, RNAW or RAW, Election Commission. Remember this Gujarat election where this Achal Kumar Jyoti, I think his name was AK Jyoti, he declared these dates were delayed. So it was alleged that he is trying to favor this ruling party of our central government. And then we have this news, we were talking about this thing, that central universities and their staffs will be falling under the civil service rules. So you cannot write things that are negative, that are not in favor of government. You cannot express yourself once you are under the civil service rules. So all these things that are going on in our country indicates that institutional decline is quite visible in our country, and institutions are very important, right? It enables the honest to survive. We want this, we want all our institutions to perform at global standard, to perform very well. We don't want our institutions to be in this state. So I hope things are clear to you. We already know what are the benefits of having a good institution. Now we have this give and take. It's about this central government and RBI. The core about this thing, why things were not going very well. Again, I'm going to be very quick here and tell you that the main problem was prompt corrective action. So if a particular bank, right, is having lots and lots of NPAs, so then RBI can take over, and RBI will decide whether this bank can give loan or not. So this is prompt corrective action framework. Then you have this liquidity for non-banking financial companies. They were facing liquidity crunch. And I'm sure you know what liquidity is all about. If you don't have money, it's like not having blood in your body, right? So this problem was faced by NBFCs, and then we have this surplus amount case, like government taking away surplus money of RBI from last 5 years. So all these issues were going on, and there was a state of government versus RBI, but now things are sorted out. Section 7 means we talked about this thing as well. We have one update in news item, so we are when we'll go through it, I will throw some more light on this thing. Now then we have another item, when giants clash. This is about APEC. APEC stands for Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, and this 2018's meeting took place in this Papua New Guinea, and in this meeting here we have this Papua New Guinea. So this is the country here. You have 21 countries in this APEC, and APEC represents 39% of world population, 57% of global GDP, and 49% of the world trade in goods. So you can imagine the importance of this APEC. Now it's been, after 25 years, this is the first time we find that no joint communique was issued, or there was no joint statement that was issued by this APEC after 25 years because of this big clash that took place between two giants, USA and China. Now USA is alleging that China is not allowing USA to or USA's products to enter and cater Chinese people and Chinese market. So this is the first allegation by USA. The second one is misuse of intellectual property rights. What China is doing is, as per USA's allegation, that if, say for example, if USA has created a medicine, right, a latest medicine, then a replica or a duplicate medicine of this medicine will be produced by China, and this is violation of intellectual property rights. And so this is something that is done by China. Then China is giving huge amount of subsidies to its industries so that they can produce items in at a cheaper rate. So this is creating problems for USA's producer, and then this trade deficit is there. So 375 billion trade gap is there between USA and China. So these are the four allegations that are laid by USA on China. Now IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, has downgraded global growth outlook for this year and the next year to 3.7 down to 0.2 percentage points from earlier forecasts. So this clash that is going on between two giants is creating negative environment for the world economy as well as world supply chain, right? And WTO, that is World Trade Organization, may lose its authority as well. We have this WTO where with the help of consensus, various different countries can frame various different rules and regulations, but because of this clashes that are going on between these giants, now more countries are opting for bilateral and multilateral treaties rather than going for this WTO. So this is not good for the whole world. Now we have this interview. It's about COP24, that stands for Conference of Parties 24. This is the 24th meeting that is going to take place under this UNFCCC, and it's going to take place in Poland, and the name of the city is Katowice, right? Katowice is in Poland. 2018 December meeting is going to take place here. This is going to be the third meeting after Paris Agreement. Paris Agreement was COP21. At that point of time, we decided what are the things that we need to do, and it was expected that in 22nd meeting and 23rd meeting we will frame all rules and regulations that we have to follow, and from COP24 these rules and regulations will be implemented. But at present we are nowhere near to this framing of rules and regulations, because there are clashes going on between various different countries, like developed nations, who are the main culprit behind this climate change, or they are the ones who have produced they have been running these factories and other things for a very long period of time. So they have technology, they have money, and as per Paris Agreement they are supposed to hand over a share of that money to developing nations and underdeveloped countries, so that this developing as well as underdeveloped countries can purchase technologies, as well as with the help of this money they can create a more sustainable way of living. But when it comes to financing, these developed countries are not giving money that easily. They are not agreeing with terms and conditions. Then there is at present, as far as transparency is concerned, things are going all right. Things are quite when it comes to transparency, of this objectives and things needs to be done, and which country is doing what. All these things are quite transparent at present. So there are some positive points as well. It's not all negative, but technology transfer and money is going to be a big thing in upcoming COP24 meeting, and I'm sure as we approach December we are going to find some more articles on this COP24, and pre-meeting articles and post-meeting too. We are going to find some articles, so we'll go through it when we reach there. And now we have this Maine example. This Maine is a place in USA, an election took place over there. So this article is talking about this two system, first past the post system, and then we have this preferential ranking, or this proportional representation. So this article is saying that the proportional representation is a good thing compared to FPTP. Now you have merits and demerits of this system, and then you have merits and demerits of proportional representation as well. So it all depends. I'm sure these are very basic things, so I don't need to explain what is FPTP and PR. If you have any doubts or anything, then do let me know. But I'm sure it's very basic, very basic. So moving on, latest news item: blast at ammunition depot in Wardha leaves 6 dead. There are some 10 or 11 guys are injured as well. Supreme Court has adjourned this CBI versus CBI case till 29th November. 34 years after anti-Sikh riots, man sentenced to death. Now, farmers badly hit by Noteman has been said by this Agriculture Ministry report. That's a very negative report for the government. Sushma Swaraj won't contest 2019 Lok Sabha polls because of health issues. India, Russia to build this stealth frigates and basic nations. So you have Brazil, South Africa, China and India. These 4 countries are part of this basic group, and they are talking about the same thing, right? This climate change negotiations and asking for money and technology from developed nations. India offers many roads, says President. It's about India and Vietnam's relationship. And our president is over there in Vietnam, so he's talking about China's Belt and Road Initiative, and Vietnam is supporting us because of the South China Sea issue. Now, 50 killed in Afghanistan suicide attack. This is very sad, and these are some of your vocabs. Now, dear friends, I asked you this question, and I haven't got that many answers from you guys. So, of course, I am disappointed, right? This is means it gives me, it makes me puts me in a state of pain, right, when I see that students are not taking things that seriously. I don't know why, right? It's going to benefit you. There are few people out there who are taking active part in this thing, and if you are not writing down answer, then you are not trying. That's what I can say, that you are not trying, because if you go through the comments of some of your colleagues, you will find that a rainbow after the rain. So if you just analyze this statement, I will show you how to do this research, or when you are asked, or when you are given this research-based topic, what is the main science behind it? Here, what I'm trying to create is, see, it's easy for me to give you MCQs, right? MCQs are easy. They are not that difficult. Then we have this current affairs program as well by Dr. Gaurav Garg, where he provides some outstanding MCQs. He brings outstanding MCQs for you guys on regular basis. So you can follow that thing as well. And our MCQs are, again, easily available too, online too. So it's already something that is out there. What I'm trying to give you is something that you will not find in books, something that you will not find in other channels, right? Or other people are not following this method, because I strongly believe in research. When I say research, I'm talking about a little bit of hard work as well. I'm talking about developing this critical analytical skills. So ideally, if I were you, what I will do is I will take out some time. Whenever I'm working on this research topic, I will take out at least 30 minutes, right? In this 30 minutes, I will not care about my syllabus. I will not care about, or when I say care, I mean to say I will not be worried about my this and that. I will just, give this 30 minutes to this particular research item. Now, what I'll do is I will analyze this thing. I will Google Xi Jinping, and if I don't know who this gentleman is, then I will go through the comment section of the video, and I will find that someone has posted an answer. So based on that answer, I will find who this gentleman is. Once I know that he is president of Philippines, then I will go through China Philippines news or something, and then I will come to know that Xi Jinping is in Philippines. He is there, and as you can see here, he's attending this parade, right? Or you can say welcome preparations are created in Philippines to welcome this Xi Jinping. Now I'll go through Atlas now. The second or third step will be to go through Atlas, and when I'll go through Atlas, I will find that A thing that we have talked about so many times is South China Sea. So South China Sea is a place with which this Philippines is sharing its border with. So I will again do a little bit of Google and dispute of South China Sea. And if I'm knowing about this thing, then I would know that Philippines is a country that dragged China in an international court regarding this South China Sea. So you can imagine that relations between these two countries were not good. So here, this rain, when Xi Jinping is saying that a rainbow after the rain is here, is associated with turbulence in relationship, and then you have rainbow. That means possibility. This wide spectrum of colors, right? So good things are in pipe or in future. So this gives me a sort of you can say a touch, or I can get a knack of China's attitude towards its neighbors or countries with which it is not having that good relationship or used to have bad relationship. So with Philippines, if it is ready to compromise, then I can understand this thing from Indian perspective, that we had this Doklam thing, and then later on we had this informal meeting between Xi Jinping and PM Modi, and things are a bit all right at present. So we can also understand this thing that China is, even though China is getting stronger, there is always this possibility that China, if there is an opportunity, then China will make sure that relationships are looked after, isn't it? So this is one side. So now tell me, this the few points that I have discussed with you. Will you find this sort of things in any book? Is there any book out there that will help you to develop this sort of understanding? And the things that we have discussed so far, right? It will take not even 30 minutes. If you are following this Hindu analysis on regular basis, then we talk about so many things, isn't it? Background knowledge, we talk about analysis, and we analyze items. So I'm sure if you are following it for a couple of months, then you'll be aware about all these things. It becomes just, all you have to do is pre-arrange everything, and it will not take 30 minutes. I'm just saying, giving you 30 minutes as your ideal time if you have to Google and if you read a couple of items. But just by investing 30 minutes every single day, right, you are learning so many things. It will take hours and hours for you to learn these things. You are learning that thing in not even 30 minutes. So I think this is the most effective, efficient way of preparing for civil services or any other competitive exams. And this is something that will help you throughout. It will stay with you for a very long period of time. But choice is yours, right? I cannot force you anymore. To be honest, I'm not in that state as well. I'm not that much enthusiastic when it comes to forcing you guys, because I don't see any point, because after a couple of days things will be back to normal. You are not ready to cross your limits. You have anyways, let's leave it, forget about it. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle, and enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.